Welcome to Jadetimes. Today, we bring you the top 10 things President Ranil Wickremesinghe accomplished during his presidency. Stay tuned to learn more about his impactful initiatives and reforms. President Ranil Wickremesinghe is committed to combating corruption in Sri Lanka. He aims to restore public trust by introducing reforms to improve transparency and accountability. A key initiative is digitizing government processes, reducing bribery and delays. By streamlining procedures and improving public access to information, Wickremesinghe's administration seeks to minimize corruption. According to Jadetimes, at 9, President Ranil Wickremesinghe introduced a pragmatic shift in Sri Lanka's foreign policy to rebuild its global standing. By balancing relations with regional powers like China and strengthening ties with Western nations and international bodies such as the International Monetary Fund and World Bank, he secured vital economic aid and investment. This approach aimed to diversify Sri Lanka's international partnerships and position the nation as a neutral, cooperative global player. President Ranil Wickremesinghe revitalized Sri Lanka's tourism sector with strategic initiatives. New hotels and resorts, including luxury properties along the southern coast, attracted international attention. His administration also organized cultural festivals like the Kandiya Sala Perahera to highlight Sri Lanka's rich traditions. These efforts boosted tourism, contributed to economic recovery, and created jobs in the hospitality sector. According to Jadetimes' tier list at 7, President Ranil Wickremesinghe highlighted educational reforms as a cornerstone for Sri Lanka's long-term development. Believing that a highly educated future generation is key to national progress, his administration focused on increasing the number of schools and expanding university campuses, particularly in underserved regions. In 2023, new campuses were established to provide broader access to higher education. Additionally, Wickremesinghe introduced smart classrooms and modern digital resources. President Ranil Wickremesinghe, recognizing the need for political unity during Sri Lanka's crisis, appointed an all-party government to foster national consensus and broader representation. This inclusive approach helped accelerate critical economic reforms, including debt restructuring and negotiations with international organizations. By uniting various political parties, Wickremesinghe aimed to stabilize governance and restore public confidence. At number 5, according to Jadetimes, President Ranil Wickremesinghe focused on improving Sri Lanka's international relations to boost economic and diplomatic growth. He strengthened ties with India through trade and infrastructure projects and hosted international sports events to attract global attention. His efforts also extended to China and Japan, securing crucial investments in infrastructure. These partnerships were vital for rebuilding Sri Lanka's global standing and attracting foreign investment. President Ranil Wickremesinghe introduced critical fuel and energy reforms to end the fuel shortages in Sri Lanka. By liberalizing fuel imports and negotiating long-term energy supply agreements, he transformed long queues into reliable access. In 2023, his government partnered with international suppliers, stabilizing fuel availability and investing in renewable energy projects, ensuring a more sustainable and secure energy future. President Ranil Wickremesinghe prioritized the development of a more equitable tax system to address Sri Lanka's fiscal challenges. Recognizing that taxes are essential for a country's survival, he restructured the tax framework to ensure fairness. Under his administration, corporate tax was set at 30%, while personal income tax reached 18%, targeting high-income earners and affluent businesses rather than burdening the poor. For instance, small-scale farmers and low-income households were exempt from these tax hikes, while large corporations and wealthy individuals were required to contribute more. This approach not only increased government revenue, but also promoted social equity by ensuring that the rich bore a greater share of the tax burden. President Ranil Wickremesinghe implemented comprehensive economic reforms to address Sri Lanka's collapsed economy, particularly through securing an agreement with the International Monetary Fund, IMF. His administration focused on fiscal discipline, restructuring public debt, and improving governance to stabilise the economy. In 2023, Wickremesinghe's government successfully negotiated a $3 billion Extended Fund Facility, EFF, from the IMF, providing critical financial support. Additionally, efforts were made to enhance revenue collection through tax reforms and reduce public expenditure, helping restore confidence in the country's economic outlook. These measures were pivotal in steering Sri Lanka towards recovery and regaining international credibility. At number 1, according to Jadetimes, in the aftermath of the 2022 crisis, President Ranil Wickremesinghe took decisive measures to restore stability and ensure law and order in Sri Lanka. He highlighted that only 10% of the protesters were true patriots, genuinely concerned about the nation's future. According to him, the remaining 90% comprised groups with hidden political agendas and criminal affiliations, seeking to exploit the situation for personal gain. During the height of the unrest, several instances of looting and arson were recorded. These acts of violence and vandalism threatened the very fabric of society, instilling fear and chaos among the populace. President Wickremesinghe addressed these issues head-on by reinforcing security measures. He deployed additional law enforcement personnel to hotspots and established strict curfews to curb the spread of violence. His administration also took swift legal action against those responsible, ensuring that perpetrators were held accountable for their actions. In his efforts to protect the country's democracy and rebuild trust in the government, President Wickremesinghe emphasized the need to distinguish between genuine protesters and those with ulterior motives. He recognized the right of citizens to express their concerns. Stay tuned with Jadetimes for more top 10 updates from the political world.